Thank you to everyone who decided to come out and join us and honor Dr. King's legacy, but more importantly, your legacy. What you are doing as a community, both the RVCC end of the community and the Somerset, Hunterdon, Middlesex, Monmouth, Mercer, Camden, Newark, Bergen, Essex, we've got people all over the state. Our students are doing things all over the place, and all of you are carrying Dr. King's torch. So I really want to say thank you and honor all of you. So kudos to you. Lori makes me sound like a superwoman when she introduces me, and thank you, Lori, but I'm not. I'm a teacher. I've been teaching for 17 years, and since I started teaching, I have wanted to advocate for kids. That was my whole point for being an educator. And I said, what better way to advocate for kids than to give kids the tools to do it themselves? And finally, this is 17 years, so it started about a year ago. So after 16 years, I think I finally found the ticket. I finally found the tool that's going to help me to say, when I leave this world, that I did give kids the ability to advocate for themselves. And that's with the design of the Teach2Matter program. I want to give you just a brief overview of what it is, particularly for the folks sitting here at these front tables, because we would love additional partners. We would love to grow this. We want it to be an RVCC initiative to start, but our aspirations are very bold, and we want it to be a national initiative. And when I say we, I need to give a shout out to a couple of really incredible people in this audience. First of all, I need to thank Mr. Russell Barefoot, Ms. Alicia Walker, and Ms. Marie Wickland in Student Life for helping to support our first trip to go and witness it live. Secondly, I'd like to thank Ms. Ronnie Wild and Ms. Sarah Costello and her group in the foundation and the foundation board for constantly supporting this initiative. We just learned of another grant yesterday. It's really helping us move forward and make this a reality. And third, I want to thank Ms. Lori Moog for everything she does for us and with us. She is a true colleague and friend, and I'm blessed to have the honor to work with her. Most importantly, and I'm going to try not to cry because I get very emotional. Ed already saw me crying with the video this morning. He said, I saw you. Most importantly, I need to thank my students who have made this such a powerful experience, something I never imagined. When I decided to explore this option, the only way I knew it would work is if I worked with my students to get it off the ground. And I gave an invitation to about a dozen of my students, and 4 accepted, and I think it was serendipitous that these four folks came together because the synergy that we have together is just phenomenal. So I'd like to ask Mr. Matthew Santoro to please stand, Mr. Eric Lister to please stand, and we're going to honor Miss Shannon Hellam and Miss Emily Daigle as well. They are not here. These are the founders of Teach2Matter. And thank you, gentlemen. And Teach2Matter is a passion-based, problem-based, project-based initiative that allows P through 12 teachers and their students to answer some really poignant questions. What are you passionate about? What do you really want to learn about that you often don't get the chance to learn about, particularly in, our legislative climate in education today? What's wrong with that? Okay, what about what you're passionate about needs your attention? What needs to be fixed? And what are you going to do about it? And our role as pre-service teachers is to get in there and to facilitate this. And I use the word facilitate very, very specifically because we are not teaching anything other than collaborative 21st century skills. Everything else comes directly from the students. And as the students will tell you who are up here speaking today, the second generation of Teach2Matter, they wind up leaving with more, I think, than the kids do. And Carmela, our cooperating teacher, may say that she gains more than what the pre-service teachers do. So it's this kind of win-win-win-win all the way around. So without further ado, I want to introduce the panel to you and let you know that I am so grateful for the schools that have accepted and taken the first step with us. On the back of your program is one of Dr. King's quotes, faith is, taking the first step. We really did not know where this was going to go or how it was going to go. And we had 2 schools sign on for the fall semester, and we've doubled that for the spring semester. We have 4, and I think we may have 5 come the fall semester, and if we could have 8, that would be great if we could double it every semester. Then I have to figure out how to clone myself, but if it grows, that's exactly what we want. We want to see it go to other community colleges, and more importantly, 4-year institutions. And that, we hope, is going to happen actually quite naturally this spring semester, because one of our community partners is in Lawrenceville, which is right next door to TCNJ and Ryder, which is a huge draw for many of our students into their education program. So we're hoping that we can get some staff and students from Ryder and TCNJ to come over and witness this so that they can own it in that school for next year. And we can say we planted the seed and the flower has grown. So thank you for having us all here, and I hope that you enjoy what these lovely folks have to share. So Darren Patrick Jr. and Giuseppina DiMartino are 2 of my students from EDUC 212 Foundations of Education, who worked along with their classmate Caroline Lane at St. Matthias on an initiative that helps the students figure out what they were passionate about in regard to the issue of bullying. And they worked with Ms. Seam's students in the 7th grade social studies classes to create podcasts or public service announcements to support the bully prevention movement in their school. And these podcasts were uploaded to their school website. So Pina and Darren are going to share how this experience impacted them as future teachers, and Carmela is going to explain how it impacted her and her current students.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Darren Patrick, and being a part of this service learning experience was very rewarding. I have to admit, I felt like it was like a first day of school for me, walking into the classroom and wondering, would the students, appreciate the art of a nicely tied bow tie, or, if they were going to laugh and point their fingers. But it was very rewarding because when I walked into the classroom and we, started to get the project underway, I saw that the many different students that were in the room were supporting one another, sharing their stories, and just hearing them being able to open up to one another made me think about, things that Professor Sook would say, that, even though we are pre-service teachers, we will be teaching in the future, but as a teacher, as an educator, you are also a learner. And as you observe in these experiences, you not only learn from the teachers that you're with, but you'll also learn from the students. And listening to these students share these stories and listening to these students show empathy and sympathy with one another just reminded me that at the end of the day, there are many situations that may be going on, but you have to, remain human and keep yourself, in a position to be open to helping others and to seeing when someone else may need a shoulder to lean on. I also learned that there will be instances where you may not know where to, grab to get a hold. There were times where I didn't know whether I was doing too much or doing too little, so I would just sit back and take a look at what Mrs. Seams would be doing with the students, how she was facilitating, and also at what my fellow classmate would do with the groups as well. It's a complete nerve-wracking and very confusing experience at first, but after a few days, you get the hang of it, and you really get to watch the kids work and watch them put together something so great, especially through the heartbreak mapping that was introduced to us in class, where the students on one side of the heart, they write, what they find is wrong with bullying, what they dislike about it, and then on the other side, they write what they want to change, what they want to do to help change that. And listening to these students, go on about, here at this school, I've seen this, but I haven't seen that. And then talk about, did you know that this, they're looking up facts, finding out different things that they could do, or, different things that they would like to initiate to get students to be aware of bullying. It's very heartwarming to see that, they are so caring. And, it's 7th grade. I think back to when I was in 7th grade, I wasn't thinking about, what's happening with this bullying and that. I was thinking about myself and like, what shoes am I going to wear today? Is this girl going to like me today? Things like that. So to see these students so invested in such an important project, it was very humbling, and it made me even more eager to step into the world of education, because I know if, students that are brilliant like this now and are willing to work so hard now, if they can continue, and if I can help, keep these students continuing to want to work hard, that definitely I can leave my footprint and help these students grow to, make the world a better place and, pursue their hopes and dreams as well.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Pina Di Martino, and like Professor Suk said, I am an education major from 5 to 12, and I will pursue a second major in world languages. The exposure that we recently had, Derry and I, with the St. Matthias students gave me a chance to sweep away all the doubts that I could have had before. As I said, as an education major from K to 12, I have a chance either to be teaching world languages to middle schoolers or high school kids. But this was the first time that I found myself in a middle school setting, and I loved it right away. I know that talking around in the classrooms and being exposed now to education classes, the majority of people that go into education try to avoid middle school kids. I don't know why, but it is so true, isn't it? It's either the little ones, they're so cute and loving, and you want to cuddle them all along while you're teaching them something, but it's also the high school. They're more responsible, you're more professional, but the middle school is a kind of like confusing place. You don't know what to do. Am I going to be their mother or am I going to be their teacher? So this experience gave me really a chance to understand that, and I really want to be involved with this age group. I truly believe that middle schooler kids are a very, very amazing age group, and they are very alert, very receptive, but at the same time they maintain a sense of wonder about the world around them, about their surrounding. They're still wondering about things. They still have that feeling of childhood that they still have with them, that they can still maintain, at least for a couple of years longer. So I like that. I like to work with that. And as I said, I hope to be a language teacher, and I see the teaching languages as a way to expose students to a different culture, a different world. It's a way to open a window to another place that kids cannot see probably outside of the classroom, but they can experience with the teacher in the classroom. So I really hope that I can do that, and being with these 7th graders gave me a way to feel that. And I only hope, because of their age group, that, and this is the other aspect that I learned, because as exciting as it may be, the other counterpart is that at that age, they can really carry you around and before you know, your plan for the day is gone. You realize, well, this is not where I wanted to end up. And I've seen Mrs. Seams always trying to bring them back, and this is what we're doing. We have a certain amount of time, and we have to respect the rules. So you find yourself repeating things over and over, making sure that the rules are respected, that the time is there, and that everything gets done. But as much as you want to focus on these things, there's one thing that you always have to keep in mind, and I always have to keep in mind as a future teacher for this age group, is to be flexible. Forget about the rules every once in a while. It's okay that kids carry you around, because if they're engaged, if they show the right energy, if they know and you know that they're learning, that's the right way to do it. That's the way to go. And things eventually will come around. As long as they learn and you see the level of energy, the involvement, then it means that you're on the right track. So I hope that once my time will come, having had this experience firsthand, that I'm going to have the right energy level to work with kids like that, and to have the right commitment and stay focused with a center presence, and do the best I can. I like to approach the future job this way, and instead of stepping in with the over-optimistic set of mind, everything is going to be great, I'm going to be fine, this is thrilling, this is where I wanted to be, and then add on, well, but there's this, but there's that, and there's that. I hope I kind of avoid burnout, and but there are going to be bumps on the way, and it's good to keep in mind that kids are challenging you and testing you all the way, every day, and as long as you are committed, as long as you are there to do your job and respect them, they will respect you, and they'll learn, because it may not take a week, it may not take 2 weeks, but at the end of the year, something is going to be achieved. And so I really hope that I am going to be able to fulfill all my duties one day, and I hope that through this experience I'm going to get even more, because we're going to have more time coming ahead. I truly believe that as teachers have the privilege to touch students' lives in one way or another in the classroom. They can mold the experience that they have, they can shape their experience, and this is a privilege that comes with a lot of responsibilities, and that's what I want to keep in mind every day. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Carmela Seams. I'm here on behalf of St. Matthias School, and I have to say that we are all honored to be part of this program. I was very grateful for the presence of the pre-service teachers in bringing their passion and compassion into my classroom. It's often said that teaching is not about what the students learn, but about the way you make them feel. And witnessing Darren and Pina interact with my students, they're going to be great teachers. I was very, very excited about the program when our principal, Sister Jean, presented it to me. St. Matthias, at the center of St. Matthias is service, and this program allows us to bring service into our classroom. Our administration backed the Teach2Matter program because it is true education. Dr. King tells us that the function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. The Teach2Matter curriculum is true education. The students think intensively when focusing on a single issue. They think critically by making clear, reasoned judgments when proposing a solution. In a world where the focus is on selfies, Teach2Matter forces the character development by guiding students to turn the lens outward to affect change in their community. The opportunity to implement this program came during October's anti-bullying campaign month. The pre-service teachers came into my classroom and worked with groups of students to identify areas where the students had concerns about bullying. They help them analyze the research that they gathered on the causes and effects of bullying, evaluate solutions, and then create the public service announcements. The students made the PSA to inform and raise awareness among the other students in our school and to help students respond to bullying. It was a very successful program. The students have put them on our website. They're going to share them with the younger grades. And I brought a couple to share with you today. They'll take about 5 minutes. So we'll see the product of the work of our teachers and students.
Emotionally and physically.
Bullying is hurting someone in any way.
Bullying is an aggressive behavior towards a person.
Bullying is an unwanted and ungodly behavior. 9 out of 12 students in 6th and 7th grade get verbally bullied in school. 6 out of 12 students in the 8th grade get verbally bullied in school.
Verbal bullying is an emotional form of bullying.
Verbal bullying can affect a person emotionally and physically.
We together can end bullying. Stop bullying now.
There are many types of bullying, such as direct bullying, indirect bullying, physical bullying, verbal bullying, or psychological bullying. There are also many types of bullies, such as aggressive bullies, passive bullies, and bully victims. In this slide, we see Joey physically harming Zach. In the next picture, Bianca is being a bystander, or someone who observes the scene without choosing sides. Here, Bianca becomes an upstander, or someone who stands up for the bully. In the end, Joey and Zach make up. In the next slide, Zach is verbally harming Joey. In the next picture, Joey has to give Zach the I message to let him know he is not to be bullied. And then in the end, they make up. Here is an example of cyberbullying, where Joey is laughing at a funny picture of Zach. When Zach sees the picture sent to him, he is upset. No cyberbullies.
Most kids who are bullied are more likely to have had physical, school, and mental issues.
5.7 million children are frequently bully victims. 160,000 kids a day skip school due to intimidation.
Of children in 6th through 10th grade, more than 3.2 million, nearly 1 in 6, are victims of bullying each year, while 3.7 million bully other children.
14% of students in the 6th grade are bullied compared to the 2% in 12th grade.
Kids who are bullied are 5 times more likely to be depressed.
A study of 2,300 children said that they didn't know 3 adults to go to for support if they were being bullied.
cyberspace, especially with the popularity of technology rising. No bullying! You make a difference in bullying. Be brave enough to be an upstander.
So, as a final word, I want to say thank you to Sister Jean. The connection to Sister Jean literally happened by a cold call to her school. And she called me back while I was on maternity leave. I was actually in a parking lot of a store. And we talked for over an hour in the car. Luckily, the baby was sleeping. And since then, it has been a truly blessed gift. I am so grateful that you opened your doors, because between the field experience placements that my EDUC 230 students have had, and now the Teach2Matter placements that my EDUC 212 students have, I really believe we have a sustainable relationship. And I think that's the most important thing that we all should honor here, is that all of you are helping to sustain a relationship that is going to sustain someone's professional life. So thank you very much for having us.